on the Boardwalk Honda hotline. We got another great former player, really an all-time great. Not only was he one of the best return specialists of all time, but really was the, I guess you can say, ahead of his time when it came to the celebrations. That, of course, is Billy White Shoes Johnson representing Southern Recipe pork rinds. Proceeds are going to go to the Mike Dick Fund, and Sunday will be Pork Rind Appreciation Day. What better way to enjoy pork rinds than on Super Bowl Sunday? But Billy, good to catch up. How you been, my friend?
I've been doing well. Thanks for having me.
Oh, well, we appreciate a couple moments. We'll get to everything that you're doing with the pork rinds and the Mike Dick Fund Foundation and the game itself. And it's funny because you were one of the first when you really talk about like the return specialist. Even when you look at guys like Upchurch and Sayers back in the day, you were also one of the pioneers as well. And that's how you had to latch on to the NFL. You always have to make your mark as a special teams player. Now, you were drafted out of Widener, correct?
Correct, I was.
Wow. So, and I think, what was it, 15th round in the 74 draft?
15th, do they no longer do that?
No.
I think, tell me, I was a 365th player chosen.
Wow. And you have to make your mark. I mean, you had to make your mark as a kick returner. Was that something that you just kind of knew that was going to be your specialty in the pros? I know later on you fluctuated as a wide receiver as well, but did you know you had that gift to be a return man because you had that quick speed?
You know what? And that's funny you say that. I thought every skilled guy could return punts and return kickoffs, but it's not true. And it was just second nature to me doing that. And I played a lot of baseball, and I think it came in handy handling punts, catching the ball over your shoulder, squaring up, knowing where you were. And it was just par for the course. I never really gave it much thought.
You know, it's funny. Listen, I'll get the celebration out of the way because everyone knows you were known for the funky chicken. Growing up, every kid did that when they scored a touchdown or scored a goal, and I know it was from the popular the singer Rufus Thompson. You know, was that instinctual? Was that just something where, you know, Homer Jones would spike it, you know, and then you just kind of took it to another level? Was that something that spur of the moment, it just came out and it just resonated among the NFL, and that's where we get the celebration?
Well, actually, it was on a daring challenge to some guys on our collegiate football team, and they dared me to do something in the end zone, and I said I would dance. You know, we did all kind of crazy things, but to me, it was just a way of going out there, having fun, exciting, doing something that kind of pushed the envelope a little bit in college, but it became fun, so I started dancing every time I scored in college.
Listen, that pales in comparison to some of the celebrations we see now in the NFL, where, again, you know, I mean, what you did back then was clean and wholesome. Now it's right. Now it's a totally it's a totally different animal. Again, a couple minutes with Billy White Shoes Johnson. You know, it amazes me because you have the Hall of Fame selection this weekend as well, and I've always thought there was, you know, I don't want to say a negative light, but kind of a bias against return specialists. You look at your career, I mean, you were a Pro Bowler, you were first-team All-Pro, you were Comeback Player of the Year. You're on the NFL 75 Anniversary All-Team, All-Decade in the 70s and 80s, but yet you're not in the Hall of Fame. I mean, does that bother you at all that, A, they haven't really recognized, you know, that aspect of the game, the return specialist?
You know, they eventually will. You got your kickers in there, your punters and kickers are in there, so they'll eventually get around to it. So, does it bother me? No, it doesn't. I've been fortunate just to be around, and I've played the game for 14 years on a level that I guess the epitome of what every football player wants to do is come and play in the National Football League. So there's no need me getting upset. I fulfilled my dream. If it happens, I'll be more than happy and more than delighted to receive the honors. But if it's not, I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. You know, life's going to go on, and I'm going to be happy regardless.
You know, two things when I look at your career. You were part of two very interesting games and two plays. You look at that Oilers team, 10-4 team in 75. You had Pittsburgh and Cincinnati both going 11-3. Since he swept you, you didn't make the playoffs. 78, you guys you get thumped by the Steelers. But then 79, a lot of people thought that was one of the best Oiler teams with Bum and Pastorini and Renfro, you know, yourself, and then obviously Earl Campbell. How about we always talk about what's a catch and what's not a catch. How about the Mike Renfro play? I went back. I was talking. Well, you know why? I was talking about it on the air the other day because we knew we were going to talk to you, and I said, I got to ask Billy because this is ridiculous. Even when you watch it on NBC and you watch the YouTube play of it, it's clearly a touchdown, and it's amazing. We're talking 30, 40-something odd years later. We can't figure out what's a catch, but that would have tied up the game, and then Pittsburgh obviously went down the field and they scored. But, I mean, does that play ever get talked about when you're with your former teammates or guys are talking to you about those Oilers teams?
Oh, we do, but we also realize Pittsburgh still was Pittsburgh. Who's to say that after we scored, they wouldn't have went down and scored one and scored two more players? So you really can't say. All we can say is that we knew we were in, and that might have changed the complexion of the game for us at that time.
How about the Hail Mary in '83? Because then it was great because you listen to the call when you're with the Falcons towards the end of your career, and you get the Hail Mary, and by today's standard, you're probably down near the 1 yard line.
Yeah, well, they say it, but I think if you really look at the replay, my knees never touched the ground. So.
Listen, it was a heads-up play by you because you slipped. It looked like you slipped, and then you got back out. You got back up, and you made the play. Isn't it funny, though? Because you look at some of those plays from years ago, and then we can't figure out anything nowadays. Did you cross the goal line?
That's right. Hey, go with the call, and that's it. Leave it.
Well, listen, you're never going to come on the air and say your knee was down. You clearly scored a touchdown, right?
Never.
Do you follow? They called it the right way, right?
Exactly.
Do you follow the game a lot now? Do you still follow the game closely?
I watch it, but I try not to criticize too much or try to scrutinize from a coaching standpoint. I enjoy the game for what it is, and I like the players that play it.
What do you think of the matchups with the Eagles in our backyard, and then you got the Patriots and their dynasty and Brady and Belichick? It's funny because we say sometimes a game can be won or lost on special teams, which was your area of expertise, but I look at this game, and Eagles can run the ball a little bit. They got that ferocious pass rush, but at the end of the day, you still have Brady, you still have Belichick. I mean, it should be a very interesting matchup Sunday. Well,
I still think the Eagles have the better team overall. So they should win. I'll put it this way. I think it may come down to a special team play, either a kicker or somebody gets a good return or somebody just, making a big tackle, causing a fumble. I think it's one of those things that you cannot underestimate the return game in this game. You get some good returns, setting up a good field position. It's going to be advantageous to both the Eagles offensive team and the Patriots offensive team. So it's going to come into play, I think.
Yeah, it's a great point you bring up because sometimes it goes unnoticed, and we've seen it. Kickers, win or loser games, or you get that special teams play, shorten up the field. You're right, bang, bang, bang. And again, Billy White Shoes Johnson, kind enough to join us for a couple moments. A couple more before I let you get out of here, and we'll get to everything that you're promoting on Sunday and whatnot. Do you, when you say you watch the game a little bit here and there, do you enjoy how some of the players now celebrate?
It's some of them I like, and some of them they're a work in progress.
That's the political answer. Oh, should they take it a little more? Should they take it a little more old school? Should they pay homage to you guys?
Well, I don't think they do. I think they should be have their own ingenuity and have their own little flair.
I don't know. If someone breaks out the funky chicken, though, did you trademark that?
I would. Hey, with social media, if I'd been around today, that thing would have been packed.
What are you doing with Southern Recipe pork rinds? And I know proceeds go to the Mike Ditka Foundation. You'll have Pork Rind Appreciation Day Sunday. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, basically, you look at the players who played in the past. They never made the money that they do today. So what Mike is doing with the Gridiron Great Assistance Fund, he goes out, helps these players with operations, with medical bills, transportation, and all these things that have been a struggle for some of the players that played the game. And because of that, some of these guys are able to get back on their feet and move forward.
Yeah, I mean, it's, at the end of the day, it's, guys that played in the 50s, 60s, 70s like yourself, they made the sport what it is. And it's tough sometimes because the NFL, the league should take care of the players that really laid the groundwork for today's NFL.
Exactly. And that's what he's doing. He's remembering when the players don't feel as though they've been left out.
You still have any pair of your shoes left over?
I gave my last pair away.
Did you really?
Yeah.
What? Before I let you get out of here, what was the reasoning behind the white shoes?
Just to be different. I didn't like to wear the high top black shoes, and I had to wear them to be different.
Listen. I was when I was prepping, I went back and I looked at all my cards because I'm a collectible. I'm a nut like that, and I have my Oilers number 84 Billy White shoes card. I have it in a frame. That lets you know how much homage I pay to you.
Well, I appreciate that so much, and I really thank you for being a fan.
Big time, Billy. Well, listen, keep up the great work. Listen, maybe one day the Hall calls to you. If not, you were certainly an entertainer and did it the right way on the field. I appreciate a couple moments. Enjoy the game on Sunday, pal.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate
you. You got it. Billy White Shoes Johnson.